Now we have Mr. Pashwa Bhavsar with us. He is an ethical hacker with an adaptive quirk and experience of penetration testing. He is one of the top 15 security researchers in India in April 2021. He is a cybersecurity researcher, application security engineer, and big bounty hunter. With a background in vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, his career expands over several industries, including web application, penetration testing, malware analysis, and mobile and API penetration testing. He is also a certified ethical hacker, a designation provided by EC Council University. He has secured more than 60 plus companies, including MNCs like Google, Microsoft, UN, Dell, BBC, and many more. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Priya, for such a nice introduction. Thank you, Neil ma'am, Dawal sir, and the Rainbow Secure for inviting me as a guest.
Most
Uh,
welcome, Pashwa.
Today's my session is all about the bug bounty world. Right now, we have seen that the cyber criminals has expanded their reach, and they are trying to exploit every vulnerability in every system, whether it is computer, cloud, network, web application, or mobile application. So keep in mind that now all the companies have started this initiative called bug bounty program, and to secure their network or any computer appliances, they have started the bug bounty platform. And this bug bounty program will help any individual security researcher or ethical hacker to learn more things, and to encourage themselves, and spend some amount of time, and gain some amount of rewards. So I will share my screen with my presentation. I hope you all can see it. Just give me acknowledgement whether you can see it or not. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, your screen is visible. May I request you to kindly speak little loudly?
Okay, okay. Now is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you so much.
So my today's topic is an introduction to bug bounty world. I would like to introduce myself again. Who am I? I am a web application penetration tester, mobile and API penetration tester, cybersecurity researcher, bug bounty hunter. I have also worked in as a incident responder, application security engineer. My cybersecurity career started back in 2018 when I want to pursue my career in cybersecurity. Before that, I have completed some of the prerequisites of cybersecurity. I have learned networking, basics of web application, then Microsoft servers on the Linux OS and Windows OS, some of the basics knowledge of all these prerequisites. Then I have pursued the CEH course, CEH version 10. I have learned it, and I have started my cybersecurity journey. After that, for experience and for some amount of reward, I have jumped into the bug bounty. So first is, what is bug bounty? As I have mentioned before, that right now the cyber criminals has expanded all over the world to hack, or uh, to gain personal leverage of hatred. So the companies has decided to start their bug bounty program. Bug bounty is a competitive model that leverage the use of ethical hacker. We can say a security researcher, that they will detect and submit valid vulnerabilities to the authorized person, and they will try to analyze that whether the reported vulnerability is what we can say is valid or not. And after that, they will reward them. Reward are different in different companies. Like some will pay in a dollar or euro, some companies will give the some t-shirt or sticker like swags. Some company will only give the appreciation letter. So the whole reward system will only depend on the companies. Who is bug bounty hunter? A bug bounty hunter is short form is bug hunter, and bug hunter is also referred as a white hat hacker. it is a infosec guy who penetrates a computer system, network, application like a web application, mobile or cloud system, any computer resources on behalf of its owner with the sole permission of the uh, company. And after that he will make, or he or she will make a efficient report. They will deliver it to the authorized organization or a person without disclosing it to the third parties. After that, the authorization company will take a look at it, try to reproduce the same thing, whatever the bug bounty hunter has reported, and get back to them. And if they have any doubt, then they will uh, continue to chat. There are two types of facility to run your bug bounty program. First is to register on bug bounty platform or make your vulnerability disclosure program separately. Now, what is bug bounty platform? Bug bounty platform is like a single web application like Bugcrowd, HackerOne, Integrity. They are a bug bounty platform. I will get back to that in future. But these are some platform. This platform will allow companies, side by side security researcher, to sign up. They both have their own dashboard, their own portal. After signing up, the company will list down their in scope, out of scope, like these are my domain, for example xyz.com, some wildcard domains, what type of vulnerability they are looking forward it, what type of vulnerability they are not expecting, what type of rewards they are giving for a valid vulnerability. And these all type of things will company will post down at their end. And when the researcher sign up, they can see the post. They will after that they will give a option of submit report, and they will give a report. In vulnerability disclosure program, a company will create a page or create a form or any framework to for a researcher to report the security issues or any vulnerability. And after that they will contact by themselves. Some of them will use Zendesk, some of them will use Google Forms, in like that way. What are the platform? Bugcrowd, HackerOne. There is a whole different level program of Japan bug bounty program, Synac, Integrity, Zerocopter. Mind that Synac and Zerocopter are the only invite-based program. Synac and Zerocopter are invite-based program. So why they are invite-based? So Synac, if I talk about Synac has only limited amount of people or security researcher, where Bugcrowd, HackerOne, or any other are very crowdsourced program. Any security researcher can sign up at Bugcrowd or HackerOne, but the process of signing up at Synac is different. You need to pass through few interviews. You have to solve some amount of challenge, and you need some amount of knowledge or some amount of prerequisites to enter into the Synac and Zerocopter. After that you can sign up, and you can hunt on whatever the website or whatever they approached. These are some docs. Google Doc. You all know about Google Doc. If someone not know, the Google Doc is one type of operator that we will input to the Google search, and we can have a more specified Google Doc. This, if you search these Google Docs, you will get the vulnerability disclosure or responsible disclosure programs. And this program, these are the pages or whatever the security channel they have provided. And you can find that by searching this type of doc, and you will get to know about what is a vulnerability disclosure program. These are the few example. There are more than 50 Google Doc to find bug bounty programs. You can find all that doc to this link. uh, so what should be the approach? Like, if you encounter the target, if you have signed up as bug bounty program, and you got a target for target.com. After that you have to approach that website. So what will be the ideal approach, or what should you do as a approach? Firstly, you have to make your own approach. You don't have to copy other people's approach. Why? Because if you copy someone's approach, then you will have a more duplicate vulnerabilities than the other ones. If you follow some other footstep which someone has already walked down, so you will not get the valid vulnerabilities. All you got is duplicate. So after that, you need to develop your own approach. Firstly, you need to understand the scope. If the website is target.com and they have different list of in scope and out scope. In scope, if they have mentioned that contact.target.com is in scope, then you can try to find a valid vulnerabilities there. And if someone has mentioned blog.target.com is out of scope, means you don't have to bother about that particular subdomain or particular domain, because that is out of scope. If you try to penetrate that website, and if you report them, it will harm your uh, what we can say, image. So you don't have to do that. So you need to understand the scope. After that, you got the target.com. You need to gather maximum information about about your target. You can have the domain service information, the CMS information, whether it is Drupal or WordPress or any other. And after that, you need to understand what are the structure, how the website has designed, and you need to understand the web structure. After that, some website has some functionality like login, sign up, forgot password, register, profile picture upload, delete my account, change my email address, change my password. These are some basic functionality, some of the logical functionality that have implemented in any website. You need to firstly understand the logic, that how the backend code works, how the developer has made the code, and what are the logic on based on that particular function. After that, you have to make a note of this. If like for example, if a person has implemented forgot password with a CSRF token, then you need to understand the how to bypass that CSRF token protection, or whatever the things. If the register, if a forget password link has come on over HTTP only, like they don't have SSL, then this is all one type of vulnerability. So there are many vulnerabilities you can find. Just you need to understand the logical flow of the any functionality. And the main topic is you should avoid automated tools. There are many automated scanner or automated tools are available for finding the web application vulnerabilities, like a web scraper, or web extractor, like that. I don't remember the perfect way. It is a old tool, and it is very good tool. But right now what happens, that all the companies have implemented the basic protection of firewall. So if you try to use automated tools, uh, there are more chance to block yourself, because the automated tools, what does it, they basically run the mass scan. They will send the request of 300 plus requests in a 1 second. So in the backend server, or in the server of any website or web server, it will show it will show your IP in the logs. And it might possible that web application firewall or IDS IPS will block your IP, so you will not access that website further. Also, what happens that automated tools, around 40 to 50% will give you the false positive only. uh, from my personal experience, I have encountered this, that if basically I'm a manual tester. I will do all the things in the manual testing apart from recon. I will try to find vulnerabilities, valid vulnerabilities with my own. I have came to know that if I have found one vulnerability called cross-site scripting manually. After that, after reporting, I have thought that let's try to scan it with the automated tools to check if it is really working or not. And that tool has told me that there is no cross-site scripting vulnerability presented here. So there are more chances to getting a false positive. So don't use automated tools. You can create your own script, like in Bash or in Python language, so that you can exploit the vulnerability or find the vulnerability, but don't use web application scanner. This will not gonna help you in your bug bounty hunting journey or in a or your penetration testing journey. These are the some of the list of common vulnerabilities. I will not going to deep in all the vulnerabilities, otherwise my time will up. But these are the common vulnerabilities that our company is looking for. My today's sessions, my scenario is, my main goal is to give the depth look of a recon process, information gathering process in a live. So I will move forward to it, but just remember these are the common vulnerabilities which the companies are looking for. If you found any of them, it will give you high payout. If you open this link, this is a backward vulnerability, backward rating taxonomy list. This will have all P1 to P5 from low to high severity vulnerabilities list. You can open it in your browser and you can check it later by on. These are some of the open source tool list. Our session is start just right now. What I meant is, now we can find the we can experience live what are the recon process. So these are the open source tool list that will help you in your recon process. First is Google hacking, Google hacking, GoHack, and Google Dorker. These three will same work. Some first two is on Python language, and the GoHack is on a Go language tool. This Google hacking tool will help you in Google working. For example, if some website has a php info.php file enabled, and if you use that particular Google Doc to find that uh, endpoint with your domain, then this type of tools will help you in Google working. DNS scan tool will help you in DNS enumeration. Sniper is a web application security framework. It is more likely a vulnerability automated scanner, but it is a CLI based. GitHub, Trufflelog, Reposeed, and Git All Secret is a GitHub Recon tool. This will help you for enumerating sensitive information from the GitHub. What happens that some website owner or developer will create a website, and for the backup of their source code, they will make a GitHub repository and store the source code in their GitHub repo. But they forgot to make their GitHub repo as a private, and that GitHub repo will available public, and the source code will leak. In that source code, some of API keys are sensible. Some PHP code will help to reverse engineering in to find the vulnerabilities also. So NocPy, Sublister, and Mass DNS. NocPy, Sublister, Mass DNS. These three are subdomain enumerator tool. This will list out these subdomains, valid subdomains or live subdomains of any target. Nmap is a network mapper. It will map the all the network functionality or network characteristics of given IP. Masscan is a tool that you have, for example, you have a list of subdomain. You saved it as a text file. You just need to parse that text file to Masscan, and it will scan all the ports and all the network of that Masscan. Eyewitness is a screenshot tool. You need to parse the list of the valid website, and it will store the screenshot of the index page in your PC. Deerbuster or Deersearch is a content discovery tool. Deersearch will help you to find some valid endpoints or some valid directory, or in other words, if I put, it will try to find sensitive information that are stored in any directory. For example, at the starting, I would tell you that php info.php file. So you can find that file from this directory buster. There are more sensitive information like API endpoints, and there are more endpoints that are sensitive and that are not available for public. So you can find that with the Deerbuster or Deersearch tool. GitHub, Git and Sandcastle will do the same things. Bucket Finder is a tool where you have to parse the website, and if the website is using AWS Bucket, and then it will list down the bucket of that bucket name of that website, and whatever the if the bucket is open, then it will list down the what are the contents inside it. Google Docker, Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine is a web archive. You, if someone has modified the website, but you have to access the previous uh, file or previous parameter, you can find it on the Wayback Machine. For sometimes the same endpoints have been changed, but in the Wayback Machine it has been stored, so you can find that endpoints in the Wayback Machine. Wayback URLs will list down all the valid endpoints with the parameter. Sniper is also web application scanner. X-ray, WFuzz is a fuzzing tool. Datasploit and Potato are if you are a exploiting tool. If you find a vulnerability, now you need to exploit it. Then this type of tool will help. For example, if you find the website has open SSH 7.2 version, so you can list down the valid SSH user. You can enumerate the SSH user with the help of data exploit. Hydra, you can generate the rainbow table or the tables or password list or whatever it is, or you can encrypt or decrypt the hash table with the Hydra. Change me, MobSF, APK tool, Dex2Jar are used for mobile application. MobFS is a mobile security framework. APK tool is a reverse engineering tool. Dex2Jar is also a reverse engineering tool. OXML access is used to find the XML external entity vulnerability, and the SQL map is used for finding the SQL injection vulnerability. These are the overview of all the tools. After next, I will demonstrate some of my recon process and how to approach a website, how to gather the information. So why recon is important? Why information gathering is important in a penetration testing? Before recon, you only have target name. For example, star.xyz.com, the scope details, what types of subdomain is in scope and what type of subdomains is out of scope. High level overview of application, like this website is does this or this, their banking website or whatever. If website has a dashboard, or you and they will request you to find the vulnerabilities in that dashboard, then they will provide you some test credential, so you can log in and try to find it, and some other information based upon target. That's it on the high level. You don't have any other information on recon. But if you do the proper information gathering, if you do proper recon, then after recon you will have list of all live subdomains, list of interesting IPs and open ports. Like open ports, if port number 21 or 22 is open, so you can enumerate the SSH users. So there are more ports. If the 3306 is or 3306 port is open, so you can access the PHP MyAdmin page. So there are if the port number 3000 is open, then attacker can access the Prometheus server. So there are more interesting things if they have IPs and open ports. uh, if you recon the GitHub, the developer has made the mistake and developer has not changed the API keys or not changed the source code of that are stored on the GitHub, then you have sensitive data exposed on GitHub. Some hidden endpoints, like after I have said that the PHP included PHP, this is the hidden endpoint. This endpoint has all the details about the web application server, what type of OS they have built, which type of modules are installed on that PHP server, and all the other things. Some juicy information are held are stored in that endpoint. So this hidden endpoint, you can gain a juicy directory with sensitive information. For example, in a WordPress, we have slash wp slash v2 slash user. This directory has the admin username stored in there uh, stored in that endpoint some juicy directory which has sensitive information like admin name, admin password. In a older version of WordPress, we have REST API. So the REST API has this juicy directories where we can find the admin information, publicly expose secrets over various platform. If for example a black hat hacker has hacked your system and made your credential public like pastebin or any other online services and put it over there, so that you if you found that publicly exposed username password and if you report it, then it will have a good image of yours, hidden parameters. If you uh, I have mentioned earlier that webback machine, if you find the hidden parameter, like for my example, I have recon of website which are using search parameter like question mark search is equal to, but when I have checked in the web archive, I have came to know that they are firstly using the q parameter question mark q is equal to. Right now they have right now they have don't use it, but that hidden parameter will still working on the source code. I don't know how, but that hidden parameter was working, and this that hidden parameter has a xss vulnerability. So you can have the hidden parameter which is quite vulnerable. Low hanging fruits like reflected xss, open redirect, and sql injection. So you can just before 1 or 2 months, I am hunting on the program of eBay. I have done the recon till 15 days, and I haven't do anything. Just with the recon process, I have found the reflected accesses and open redirect vulnerability and reported them. So if you know that for after successfully recon process, our scope goes from 1x to 1000x. There are more things you can find after successful recon process. So the list goes on and on. Now there are three types of recon process: small scope recon, medium scope recon, and the large scope recon. So first is small scope recon. In small scope recon, we only have one domain in scope and which has one page or single page or multiple page. For example, xyz.com only. So what to look for while recon? So firstly, directory enumeration. Uh, Hereby I will go live. I will do live things to demonstrate you. I hope my screen is visible.
Partial, we are not able to hear you. Please, could you be a little louder?
Hello, hello, hello. Right now it's okay.
Yes, it's much better.
Okay. I hope my Linux screen is visible. I have opened my in my VMware.
Yeah.
Yes, we are here.
I don't know why this is happened. The session screen. Okay, just wait for it. I guess. Okay. So the first is directory enumeration. Directory enumeration is like finding the valid endpoint or the sensitive directory. For that, we will use dirbuster, or in full form, we have a directory buster. I will have one target. This is a vulnerable website. It is meant to be vulnerable, so we can test it. Anything. The command is dirbuster and the domain name. If you want to find any specific endpoint, then you can mention it after hyphen capital X and the endpoint. If I want to find that .ini endpoint, click enter, it will generate the automated list of words like 4612, and it will test the all the endpoint. And if any of this URL will have 200 okay, then it will give us the output that this endpoint is valid. So it will scan the endpoint. Let's wait for the result. I will jump to the next one. What is service enumeration? For service enumeration, you need a plugin that are available in Chrome and Firefox both. Its name is Wapalizer. It looks something like this. If you click on this plugin, see Wapalizer name. If you Google it, you will get it. The logo is something like this W, and it will give the list of all the valid technologies that are the website has built with. The editor is Dreamweaver, the server is Nginx, the programming language is PHP and Adobe Flash, the operating system is Ubuntu, and the reverse proxy they have set is a Nginx. There are more functionality that are probably, if some website has a live chat functionality, you can, if they have used intercom functionality, then you this will have another section is live chat, and the name is intercom. So this will come under the service enumeration. Why service enumeration is important? If you found the older version of Drupal or older version of WordPress, you can search for the exploit that are previously found on that version, and you can Google for it the CV, and you can exploit it further. It will take some time. Let me cancel it and just scan all for all the endpoint. So let's wait for the result. No issue. Next thing is broken link hijacking. For example, if this website has a footer, and the footer has three type of logo like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If the developer has made the initial developing and they put the wrong page link, or whether it is a right page link, but after some time the social media manager has changed the username or changed the URL, and but forgot to uh, modify it in on the web application. And if you found that broken link, and it is said then okay, this link is broken, you can create the same page of Instagram or Facebook or Twitter with the username, and you can report it like I have taken down your Facebook or any page which are mentioned here. It will give you some amount of bounty also. So this is the one valid directory it has found /admin. Let's see what this endpoint gives us. Some, I guess, some login page or also create.sql, some SQL file, I guess I'm expecting. Okay, it will download it. No issue, we will cancel it. So the directory enumeration will help you in this type of things. So the directory enumeration is a must process. Next is JS files for hard-coded APIs and secret. If you know that the website is built with the JavaScript, so what happened? Sometimes the developer has made some API keys hard-coded in the JavaScript file. So we will try to scan the JavaScript file. If we find the valid API keys, some hidden endpoints that are not shown in the page, we will try to find that also. And the more information, what are information or whatever the hide in the JavaScript file. For that, we will use JS Scanner. We need to pass this alive.txt. I will show down the alive.txt. It will has the same website. I will pass that. The JS scanner has started, and the scan is completed, and they have stored in the JS scanner result. change directory to JS scanner result. Change directory to JS. The website name raw.txt. If I open it, see this this scanner has scanned the JS file and they have find some endpoints mod right shop hpc privacy.php flash add.sfw some endpoints some url they have extracted the url from the javascript file some other endpoints some urls from the javascript files. This is a mime type. So this there is a small information but it varies on the web application. If you find some valid endpoints or some api keys in the js file, and if you for example google maps api key, then you can report it also. If you found any other api keys which are not meant to be public, then you can report it and it will accept it. Next thing is GitHub Recon. See, GitHub Recon is a 50-50 chances. Like in some cases, the program, for example, the Intel or the Buckrout has a GitHub repo, but they don't have any secret API keys or any secret code that are not meant to be public. So you have to find or you have to check whether the given information you found in the github is valid or not. If you found some username or password or some credential, you have to check it after before you reporting. If, I have found one gmail id and password and I have blindly reported without testing it, and it goes not applicable as the password of that particular user particular email id has changed, so that information doesn't mean anything. So you have to check whether this information is valid or not. For example, let me open github.com. Right now I will show you without any target. These are some of the keywords that you will you are going to look for. Some of like sss access key, soundcloud client id. These are the keyword you have to use with the google search. I will use this netlify api key. Here you need to paste it. You have to paste it in between double quotation, after that space org for organization colon and whatever the example.com or website.com. Right now we don't have any target, so I will leave it and you need to search it. Go to the code. We have 619 repositories. You need to find valid API key. If you found anything with that organization, then you have to report it. Okay, we can't find anything here. That's good. Next is parameter discovery. For finding XSS or SQL injection or parameter prototype pollution or any vulnerabilities like open redirect, we need to have a list of valid parameters. To find that parameters, we have to use the param spider tool. Param spider is basically parameter mining tool. -d the website name. Now it will list down all the valid parameter. Admin c is equal to artist is equal to redirect.phpr is equal to, so I guess this parameter redirect.php will vulnerable to open redirect vulnerability. Artist.php, this artist.php might vulnerable to SQL injection. So this tool has identified 23 unique URLs with the parameters. So this param spider will help you to find valid parameter to test any vulnerability. Or this B access is for blind access vulnerability. So param spider will help you in parameter mining, and with the help of parameter mining, you can do the fuzzing or you can do the testing whatever the application has made into it, like for SQL injection or XSS. So this param spider will help you in parameter mining. Webback history and Webback URL. I have mentioned the Webback history to find the older parameter. Webback URLs are the CLI version of Webback history. We can do the same thing with Webback URLs. Just type Webback URLs space the with space the website name. It will list down the all the previous parameters or previous endpoints with the URL or whatever the parameter and endpoint it is. For example, these are the valid endpoint and the parameters which are previously available but right now not. Someone has searched this SQL injection query. I don't know if it's work or not. Let's check it. I guess it is vulnerable to something which we can't understand what which type of SQL schema they have performed in the SQL injection. This is the SQL error. This will help you in SQL injection. So we don't go further in the exploitation part because that's not the topic, but you can find the valid parameter or valid URL with the help of Webback URLs. Google Dork. Google Dorking will help you to do this all in a very subtle way or very easy way. For that, I have created one helper. Its name is Bug Bounty Helper. I don't know if it still work or not. Let me check. Okay, yes, it is still working. Okay. Oh, I have created it. You need to enter the target domain. For example, if I enter result.eu, and this is if you click on directory listing vulnerability, it will all taken the Google Doc and the search for it. Let me enter the valid or any good program. This is the harvard.edu, the web application of Harvard University. I have found this directory listing vulnerability. If you find any sensitive information in this directory, you can report it. There are nothing sensitive here. I have already checked it. Okay, so you can find exposed configuration files. You can have so many options. If you click on search in GitHub, it will recon the GitHub. It will list down all the repository which has a Harvard name in it. So you will have some lesser work. So this will help you in your Google working. If you want to what you can say fasten the things up, you can use this Bug Bounty Helper. It will have the dork implemented. You just need to enter the domain name and click on the whatever the thing you have to find, and you can find it. So this is all about Google working thing. Next is about medium scope recon. So in medium scope recon, we have a wildcard domain like star.target.com with the multiple or more than one application. For that, you need to what you need to look for. The first thing is subdomain enumeration. Okay, I have one tool in my mind, that is sublister. Then another is asset finder. So there are more tools to find the subdomain enumeration, but at the for the medium scope recon, you only need one good tool. I will suggest you to use asset finder. The simple command, asset finder hyphen subs only, and the domain name, this is the FABF.in, some one company, and it will list down all the subdomain of this company. So this is subdomain enumeration tool. After that, you can use that eyewitness tool, that will store the screenshot of all the valid application, and you can find the subdomain takeover if someone has used a Azure services, or someone has hosted the website, but after that they have deleted the website, but forget to change the CNAME. Then you can find the subdomain takeover vulnerability. Misconfigured third party services. Misconfigured third party services, like I have mentioned before, Google Maps. If someone has implemented a Google Maps API services in their website, then you can and if you check that, for example, this page, we open this. We'll move to the source page. Contact the source, view source. Click on Control F and type maps. If I find this is the API key of Google Maps. I will try to find whether it is valid, or it is a secure or not. This is a Google Map exploiter. I have made this tool in Python. So this website has used third-party services like Google Maps, and they have Google Map API key, hard-coded sensitive information that are stored in the source code. And if this API key, I will paste down the Google Map API key, click enter, and it will scan for the functionality, and it came to know that it is vulnerable with the embedded advanced API, and it is vulnerable with embedded basic. Okay, the basic is free version, but advanced is paid. If I use this API key in any of my configuration on development, and if I use this API key, the bill goes to that particular company. So this is the thing about misconfigured third party services. Next is misconfigured storage option. Like I have said that some website has used the bucket, AWS S3 bucket, and they have put all the files on their AWS bucket. After playing with the application, you found out that bucket in the source code of the URL, and if you have AWS CLI configured, you can check whether the bucket is open for public or not. And if it is open, then you can download or delete or read any files from the server. So it is a misconfigured storage bucket option. Right now I don't have any demonstration for it. Broken link hijacking, I already mentioned. Directory enumeration, service enumeration. You need to do the same thing with the all target which you have find. GitHub Recon, parameter discovery, Google Doc. For the Google Doc, you need this tool Guhag. This is something new, and this will help you in bug bounty, and this will not take much time. For that, you need to run in the bash Buhack, and you need to parse the website name, for example, fa.in, and it will automatically open many things in your browser. Let me cancel right now because I the RAM issue, but it will open so many Google Doc option, and this will help you in your bug bounty. This is the website. It will open the two HTTP and HTTPS, but they have implemented the forced SSL browsing so that the both time it is going to open in HTTPS. After that, they have used the Netcraft. Netcraft will sitemap or give the site report of the fabf.in that website, or I can show the source code. So what this website can do, this will open the LinkedIn. This is a Google Doc. It will list down all the employees that are working on it. It will this paste bin, like I mentioned before, that paste bin, some hackers have exploited your system and found out the default password on any credential, and they make it publicly available in the paste bin, so you can find out that in the paste bin. If you have the Apache Struts vulnerability, then you can find out that some document extension like .ext, .txt, .log, .back for backup. So it will open that with the door. The tool which I have made, the website which I have made, Bug Bounty Helper. This is the all the same thing, but it will do all the thing at one glance. In my website, you need to do the things manually. It will do the things automatically. So the thing is that the potential URL extraction. In this, you need the GF pattern. GF pattern is a set of valid parameters. If you pass the list of valid subdomain with the GF patterns, it will list down the valid parameters from the GF patterns, and the automation script will scan for the valid vulnerabilities. It is just like a param spider, but after the parameter mining, it will scan the parameter also. Now the actual gameplay is large scope recon. Large scope recon for like Google or Microsoft, Tesla. These are the big companies which have subsidiaries and acquisition. For example, the Fitbit or anything like AppSheet. AppSheet is a acquisition of Google. So first you need to gain the in-depth knowledge of the subsidiary and acquisition by you can use the Wikipedia and CBI Insight. I have opened it here. This will have the list of Google acquisition. Let me scroll down. So these are the link, or these are the information or name of the company that has been acquired by Google. And for example, Quick Office, Sparrow. If you open this Sparrow, if you found any vulnerability in Sparrow.com, right now they have converted into the Gmail.com. But if I scroll down, and what is the recent acquisition? I guess it was a Fitbit, but no, it is a PlaySpace Neverware. Okay, so Neverware is, yeah, is a uh, cloud-based tool. Neverware.com. I will open it. If you found any vulnerability on this neverware.com, and if you report it to the google.com, they will surely accept it. My one vulnerability is accepted on the neverware.com, which I have reported it to the Google. So uh, this is another is CBI Insight. It will also have the list of the acquisition of Google. So most of the penetration tester or bug bounty hunters are, don't know about their actual target. They are only hunting on star.google.com or with google.com subdomains, but they are unaware about that the acquisition or the subsidiaries of the particular company are also the in scope. Neverware is now part of Google. You can use this Google Doc as in text. Star is now part of Google in between double quotation, and you will have the list of all the website which has mentioned something like the XYZ is now part of Google. So you can find that what are the subsidiary or acquisition that are acquired by whatever the company are. So this will help you to surface your target from google.com or with google.com domains to another domains. It will have help you in bug bounty in that way that your chances of getting duplicate or chances of not finding any vulnerabilities will become low, and you can find the more vulnerabilities because the acquisition has just made and they don't have applied any security protection there. DNS enumeration. DNS enumeration is come in the network part. So this is a tool nmap. What we will do is we will parse the website name and it will scan for the DNSSEC. I will run this script dnsenum.sh and website, and this nmap will start. It will scan port number 53 and they have inbuilt script for the DNS enumeration, and it will enumerate all the DNS, and no open or close port. There are this both port is filtered. This is a 50-50 chance, might open or might not. We have to check manually. And no DNS vulnerable record found. If you found any DNS enumeration vulnerability, you can Google it for the CV or exploit. SSL enumeration, this work is the same as DNS enumeration. This will scan port number 43 with and it will scan the SSL ciphers. Oh, sorry, wrong tool. It will scan for the SSL vulnerabilities if it is available or not, and it will list out the result. Next is ASN and IP space range. Most of the companies has the server or ASN ranges that are not meant to be public, that are for internal network or internal infrastructure, that are lesser known from the outside world, but it is in scope at some point of time. So we need to find out that ASP ranges. This has scanned the SSL, and I don't see any vulnerability here. Okay, not important. We'll move forward to the ASN ranges. This is a website called bhp.he.net. This will help you to find the IP range or ASN range of any website. Right now, I am searching the range of AT&T website. The name is att.com. So these are the ASN numbers. Let me select one ASN number. The number is the last digit. AS is not included. To enumerate the ASN ranges, we will use AMAS Intel hyphen ASN, the ASN number. And if there are any IP ranges which has vulnerability or which has web application hosted on that IP which is not public, which is for only for internal services, it will list down that there are domain name which are regarding this ASN range. Let's wait for the result. If I have any one result, I will just cancel it down. I just need to show. Next is for IP ranges. For example, this is the range of IP. These are registered at the AT&T company. I will use the same AMAS tool to find a valid website hosted on that list. We will use AMAS Intel CIDR and paste that IP ranges. So this have one AT&T.net. I have performed recon on Microsoft.com, and I have list down like Office.com, and then the Bing.com, Microsoft.com, then MSN.com. So you have more type more list of the more list of domain, and if you enumerate the subdomain of that list of domain, then you have more attack surface, you have more list of valid subdomains to find the valid vulnerabilities, and chances of getting vulnerability will go high. So this ASN range only one domain binded, that 88.net, and this IP range has 88.com. Many people are aware about 88.com, but many people not aware about 88.net. So this will help you in your expanding your target. And after the list of the, for example, if you found any other than something att something attxyz.net, we can enumerate the subdomain of that domain. We will find the subdomain takeover vulnerability from their domain, and the whole the same things are we need to repeat. This misconfigured third party bucket, broken link hijacking, directory enumeration, all the things we need to do the same thing. Internet Google search engine are already included in that on that GUHAG tool. GUHAG tool will already scan for this Shodan, Census, FOFA, Binary Age, and Spice. These are the search engine that will help you to find valid network or valid protocols are running on that website, or any of their subdomains or not. So this will be the whole recon process. If you think about the previous, the before recon part, we'll only have few information regarding the target for like Microsoft.com, start.microsoft.com. But after the complete recon process of ASN ranges and IP ranges, we have a lot
Yeah.
more target.
For that, surely we have only dedicated session for you, and this is very, very knowledgeable, like good learning topic that you just mentioned here, and very much informatively this session is. So, because of the lacking of our time, we can make like little bit shorter if you just summarize what you have.
Yeah, in the summary, I will. Sorry for the time. I haven't checked the
I
time.
know.
No, no, it was wonderful actually. This
Yeah.
much time you actually need if you want to really demonstrate something, if you really want to
Yeah.
get your point across, you need some time. And it was very wonderful actually that you highlighted different areas, you highlighted the opportunities for the ethical hackers, and also you highlighted, hey, not only you can use an automated tool that will try to do its job, but it's important enough to have your manual steps, have your own thought process. Once you understand this part of the security where you can have your own manual steps, then only you can have your own script to automate further. So that
Yes.
part you highlighted well is very good. So we always welcome such a
We have,
knowledgeable
yeah.
persons, and our community is very much thankful to you for coming and giving this session. We would also further like to explore partnerships with professionals like you who can further take this digital transformation dream towards more better secure future. So we'll definitely have anybody who wants to ask
Also,
questions. Yeah,
I'll arrange one dedicated session for you, Pashwa.
yeah, we'll also have
Yeah.
some
On
separate topic.
Saturday after this event, like on 30, maybe we can arrange one session for you. So,
Yeah, we can have a separate.
yes,
Yeah,
just
day.
put it in a chat who wants to join that.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
a
I, I,
separate
I,
session.
I only know about that the 1 hour session is all about me. That's why I prepared more things.
No, no,
I
it's
didn't.
good. It's good. More preparation is always, very good. And we just want people to digest the stuff that you presented, and then next time
Go
they may come
slowly.
ready.
Just give
With
them whole
yeah,
bunch of pie. They cannot eat at a time. So go
So
little by little.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they will watch your video again. We're gonna share your recording as well, so people will be better prepared for the next episode.
Yeah. So if you want to arrange like a small 1 day task, second day, or 1 week task, second day, that will be good.
Yeah,
So
so
they
we'll
can
have.
learn also, they don't get confused,
Yeah.
and they can eat whole pie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have mentioned the career path, the how to report, and what are the good certification things. And I have
Mhm.
mentioned many more things in the upcoming
Mhm.
slide, but we will
No,
do
no,
it
no. We
Yeah,
in
will
some.
have one session definitely with you,
definitely we'll
okay?
have a session. Yeah.
We don't let you go.
Yes. Yeah. We can have more further, collaboration. Yeah, in future.
Yeah, sure, sure. So thank you everyone for having me, for tolerating me.
No, no, no. This is all good. It's all good. This must be tolerated if you really want to make a career in security,
And
right?
also,
You should be knowing
I
this.
for student, you must learn from him. So we
Yeah.
can join one day for him to give a session, or just dedicatedly design your how much day you want for
Yeah.
smaller periods,
We
so
can
they
have
can.
maybe it's a 3 day workshop or something.
Yeah,
Divide this. We can
we
divide
can do
this
some
into three
workshop kind
different
of.
sessions. 3 day workshop.
Yes.
Is it good enough? Three
Yeah,
days?
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
3 days work, so I'm okay.
Yes. 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 So very good. And so I think anybody wants to have any further question with Parsva, they can email us and then we can get you in touch with him, and definitely we'll have you sign up, recommend for his upcoming workshop. So let's stay tuned.
Yeah, and or email us who wants to
You
join
can
this
email
workshop.
me also. You can email them also.
Yes, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. If anyone has any doubt, you can ask me.
Yeah. So do you have any question right now?
Okay, no question, I guess. Okay.
So I think yeah, people are awestruck and they're thinking, oh wow, what a presentation. So they're thinking, yes.
Thank you, Neil ma'am, Dawal sir, Shashi ma'am, and Priya, all over the team, Rainbow Secure Company, for inviting me.
Yeah, you
Okay.
yeah. So we also are thankful to you for coming and taking the time. It's a night in India, I know. Still, you were
Yeah.
joining. So it's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, yeah.